Yo, guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Marijuana Essay Weekly, and today we're going to be answering some of your questions we're going to be giving some of the answers to some questions that we posed on our Instagram. Some really interesting stuff about how, basically the whole, you can get a really good picture of the cannabis industry in a short thing. As we ask some things like what grow lights are people using, what nutrients, and this and that. And yeah, now we're going to be going through them. How's it going, Dean?
Pretty good. And you, Andy? What's up, everyone?
Not too shabby.
Yeah. Pretty stoked to be answering some, just be seeing taking a little snapshot of the home growers market in South Africa and see what guys are using, what techniques, or with relation to, the few questions that we've asked. I also snuck in what's the favorite local breeder. So I'm going to see if there's any new guys that come up or any guys that we've spoken about. Gathering a bit of data and sharing it with you all.
Okay, all right. So the first question was, sorry guys, excuse us, we look a bit antisocial. We obviously reading off the gram here. So we're gonna be bouncing between you guys and my phone.
Quite a lot of responses, though. I'm not gonna lie. We seem to have gotten a large amount of interaction with this data gathering endeavor, so we'll probably say something we try again in the future. Everyone knows we like trying new things on the channel.
It's never stagnant. Oh, and before we jump in, just make sure to join the email list below in the bio, and check us out. Obviously links to our Instagram and whatnot all there, so you can also partake in these future polls. Okay, first one was your favorite grow light. Let's have a squiz.
Is it HPSs or is it CMHs or is it LEDs? That's what I'm keen to. Mostly
Yeah, we didn't specify. We just said favorite grow light. And it seems like, I'm just going to read some of that. Indoor Sun, HPS Gavitas, the Nova from Indoor Sun. I think that's a Samsung LMB light. Spider Farmer, that's also a Samsung LMB, Samsung Quantum board. Fluence, not familiar. Do you know the Fluence?
Yeah, it's also like a similar kind of LED. It's like these foldable bar ones. You would see it you would see them. They're pretty good quality. I'm not gonna lie. I think they go for quite a high price point as well.
Obi-Wan Patanobi says the E900. That's a classic Marijuana Essay original. There's a HPS 400. Any that you're spotting that stand out?
Carb LED.
Yes.
Someone says cheap LEDs. I'm not so sure with that
one. No, you guys go watch our DIY video. Cheap good LEDs quality all the way.
A few people have said the sun, which is always a little classic one to come in with. But I see kind of a trend here. There's either there's a fewer HPSs listed in here, one or two, but most of the people here have said that they are utilizing quantum boards. So what's a quantum board? The brands aside, I see King Bright LED, I see Phoenix Sky. I think that's also a local brand. Indoor Sun. Grow Ops. Grow Ops will do the carbs. Everyone knows we love carbs and quantum boards. So I'm stoked to see them coming up. But yeah, the trend for me is definitely more people are utilizing quantum boards, and I think that's because of the price point. You can get it's cheap. Definitely the build of a quantum board is flat pack, small board, small aluminum heatsink driver on top. It's generally not the prettiest light. They do look cool, but it doesn't have all the frills, but it's because of its volumetric weight, I feel it comes in at a good price a lot of the time, definitely the market seems to go for high quality but more affordable.
A lot of people, one of the ones that we actually carry is the King Bright 240. We also have a King Bright 120. We have the QTM 140 and 150. Those both have quantum boards in them. And I think we kind of saw that trend appearing a little bit before it did, because just before that, all there was the blurples, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then now there's been a big
then it went
push
Cree.
towards
Yeah, like the
towards the
Crees and
carbs.
the cobs and this and that, and then it went to these like small, like I think they're mid-powered LED chips. They're not like the high power. Oh no, they are the high power ones.
What, the quantum boards?
Yeah,
the carbs.
yeah.
They're like 1/2 watt or 1 watt each
Mm,
per diode, and then that's an SMD, so it's attached
Yeah.
onto a board, whereas the carbs would generally just be attached onto.
Oh yeah.
The cob is already on a board
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's built onto, and then you can put onto a heatsink on top of that. So I would have said I could have kind of guessed what was going to come here. I mean, we do
A lot of
see
people
trends
saying
in the
the
market.
sun. Now the
No, the
quantum
sun's the
board.
ultimate, though. I mean, if you're getting
California
into it,
Lightworks. That's also similar to the Sandlight, I think. I haven't really seen one in a
I
while.
haven't really looked
But I
into
remember
the
it's got the
California.
covers and all of that, but high
seen-
price point.
It's gonna say the same.
Yeah, very steep. But there is actually the Zoodly Cannabis Cups coming up, and there is a California Lightworks light is the prize, so maybe also go check that out. That'll be you're looking at the judges.
Yeah, I'll be judging that, bud. Can't wait. Second time. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So may the best bud win.
Yeah.
The California.
Okay, next
Should we
one.
move to the next one? Yeah.
Yeah, favorite local breeder. I'll let you follow this one up.
Yes, this is my passion. Let's have a little look. Alrighty, so favorite local breeders. I will just say straight up, I saw one trend in here when I had a little gander before, and that is I don't know who the gas station is. That's quite funny. But I see Garden Root Genetics coming up here a few times. And then there's one specific comment that I agree with fully. And that was loving the genetics from Garden Root Genetics for its stability and PM resistance. And that's one big thing, because he's breeding up in the Garden Root and it's quite humid up there. And that is something I have really, really noticed. And I also did have the privilege of growing out some of his genetics, as I've said a few times recently. So, that's very exciting. Secondarily, I'm a Deadly, also, old favorites of mine.
Yeah.
I see Daggafontein coming in, also someone we've supported as well and support as well. And then there's, Head Honcho.
A lot of names I actually haven't.
So Head
seen
Honcho
before.
we've spoken about previously. I've been following him on Instagram. He's doing some really cool stuff. And then there's a few guys that I haven't really had much experience with. Motherland Genetics, we do. Knuckle Genetics, we do. But Dr. Dankenstein, I've been seeing a lot of his stuff recently all over Instagram. So he's obviously becoming very popular. Black Flag Genetics.
Who's Totemic?
Totemic. Totemic. I'm not sure. Also
a couple responses there.
Hydrocult, Seedy Underbelly, Mzansi Genetics. The one that's most interesting is, what is the gas station? Or is that just like a joke?
I don't know.
Like gas station Bankies of Turry or what?
The gas station.
So, Garden Root really does seem to be doing some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And has gained some popularity. I also think his crosses are very interesting. He's got the red grape, the black chronic, very interesting color tone, strong. And of all the weed I grew last season outdoors, the red grape is by far, and everyone who has tried it has said it's the most flavorful weed one of the most flavorfuls that they've tasted. So,
what's
big
really
ups to
interesting
Garden Root.
is that there isn't actually a standout dominant local breeder yet, and I think that's really a good thing, because it's got the industry's still gonna grow and still gonna
But do we want a dominant local breeder? The quality always comes from. It's never going to be from the large
no, not
commercial
necessarily guys. We want it, but there's still a large variety Whereas I think as the market develops, I think we're going to see a lot more of like repetitive names coming up. I mean, it just goes.
But I mean, if you're breeding, you're creating new names, so you won't want to repeat. Oh, you mean repetitive names in the name? Yes.
As breeders,
Well,
I
I'm
think
sure
if we
people...
had said favorite international breeders, there would have been a lot smaller list. I
it
think.
would have been like Inas, Oni, Ethos, Dutch Passion, Royal Queen. You know, it would be the classics that you'd eat.
Yeah.
But I think it's because our industry, a lot of guys are just, guys obviously have been breeding, but a lot of guys are only now coming to the surface with their product. And if you have been breeding traditionally, you would have been doing a larger scale, which means lesser chance that you would have wanted to come, to be well known originally. So I think the real dank breeders, like as a lot. There's probably a lot more than what we know of right now.
True.
And I think what I've seen with the South African market is there's a huge appetite for people to support local guys, and I think that will allow way more guys to come on board and still be able to be supported. There's enough. I think there'll be enough support that the market could sustain far more local breeders to what we are seeing now. And I'd like to see guys putting, guys who are having success breeding locally now, being able to utilize that budget that they now all of a sudden have, and to push for like feminized, more stabilized, and then start to push out genetics overseas.
I think even in like 20 or 30 years, like I think what happened is like I think South Africa is gonna blend more with Africa.
Yes.
And it's gonna become more like a EU, like a Europe, like African Union sort of thing, where it's just like free to move around, trade in between the different countries. And I think there's more people than there's a large amount of people, and if we could, for instance, like just improve the trade between us and Nigeria, which is one of the biggest economies in Africa, I mean that's just a huge market for South Africa to eventually enter and collaborate with.
I think with the currency, there's a big push towards cryptocurrency utilization in Africa because of how many people have migrated around Africa. So I think as we start to see sort of easier ways to make payment via crypto, and we see sort of the market grow, and we see the global and the global legalization continue,
trade,
we'll see. I think a lot of African countries are going to want to push towards cultivation, and they'll go for.
They already are.
They already are, and I think it will be nice to see, to see our own African genetics start to do incredibly well in in Africa, because we want to support Africa. I remember when I was in Senegal. Just a quick sidebar before we carry on. Like we were going to go on this ferry, and there was a whole bunch of tourists, and then got to be our turn, and then I had to show my passport or my identification to go on the ferry, and he saw I was from South Africa, and he was like, "No, for you, bro, Africa price," and I got like half price. So we all want to support each other.
That's what we need. All right, okay. Favorite soil mix is next up on the agenda. This was interesting because there's very few soil producers like that are trying to go like commercial.
It's mostly craft producers, and Andy and I actually had this conversation the other day about how many brands there are in nurseries, for example, and the price point differentiates a lot in a nursery style compared to the craft soil.
Craft.
Yes, which is quite interesting.
I'm trying to spot if there's any. Okay, so there was a lot of responses to these. The main one is the Auger Soil Lux. The Freedom Farms, I suspect the classic craft. Organics
Matter.
Is that was it, eh?
Someone says here, orgasm soil.
Yeah.
It must be because it's so good for the plants.
Canna Pro. Have you tried
Canna
that?
Pro. I haven't tried Canna Pro.
We've had some samples delivered.
No, we haven't tried the Canna Pro yet. That's from Hydrobiz, and for an inert mix of 70-30 from the guys that I know that cultivate a lot of salts. They say that that's one of their favorites by far.
And the Gorilla mix?
I haven't had any experience with the Gorilla Mix, to be honest.
I haven't either. Wait, who makes it?
It's also a local brand, I think.
Yeah, Atami's they've got obviously not necessarily like they've got a few of the components of soils, you know, like the bricks they do have the Atami mixes.
Yeah, they've got those Atami pre-bagged mixes, and then I also see there's a lot of guys saying homemade soil. 50% cocoa, 40% perlite, worm castings. That's the one person's comfrey. No one else gives their mix, but you know, making your own soil is also not that hard. The components are readily available, and dry amendments are incredibly cheap. You know, you can look at some boosters on the market that contain fulvic and humic acids going for thousands of rands, but then you can buy 2 kilos, one of each, for like less than 300, you know, for the same components. So if you're wanting to push your mix a little bit and try different things, it's also really nice to go for your own. But personally, my 2 faves are between Organic Classic Craft, the green bag of soil from Freedom Farms, and at the moment I'm using the Auger Soil Lux. But with both of those, I always supplement with extra worm castings, which is how I sort of give a bit of it. And recently I've been putting in Kayakashi as well, and Kelp.
I think eventually the only pet peeve I have, I think, with soil at the moment is it's still getting to that point where it needs to bring the price down, because it's craft soil.
Yeah, I see like Auger Soil going for 350 Rand a bag at Stodel, Somerset West. You know, that's retarded. And they're a nursery shop. You can go buy Landscaper's Choice, which is a bag of potting soil that I use for all my veggies and stuff, for 22 Rand.
Yeah. Like that's the thing.
It is a craft soil. It does have high quality components in it and large amounts of them, the Auger Soil. But I think in order to bring the price down, the production needs to go up like tenfold. But then do you still have that same quality of component?
No, you do, because in the States and Europe,
craft soils are also expensive in the States.
They are pricey,
like Big Roots, which is like it's like a similar kind of soil to Auger soil, we could say, for example. That carries quite a high premium in the States, and they also push like a cannabis only.
I still think it's going to be about probably $15 maybe a bag, which I think for the Europeans or something, you know, Europeans say 17, 15 euros a bag maybe for like a 30, 50 liter. It's a lot more affordable for the Europeans than for just for the SA. Then like the SA guys paying
$60 for a bag of Big Roots.
Maybe it's only gonna go up.
Okay, but on his website, that's on Amazon. But Big Roots, sold by the Soil King, is the dude's name who makes the shizzle. I only saw this because I was pondering the Mendo Dope Boys, and then I saw this dude, and I've been like, they rap about his soil. But $19.99 per bag. So what's that? That's
how big's the bag?
A 30 liter.
That's about $3.50.
As Stodels.
see, for them as well, they're getting, you know, especially if they're moving bud at a club price in Europe versus it's just more affordable. Anyway, we're gonna run out of time.
Let's hit the last one.
Favorite nutrients. Just guys, if you also have anything in your country that you guys use, just put it in the comments below. It's also it's really useful for us to learn about different products around the world. But yeah, in terms of responses, quite a nice variety. I really like that there's South African brands, Umia being very popular on here. The BioBiz.
And Dirty Hands, also before we move, Dirty Hands is also a local producer, and they would do not bottled nutrient per se, but a whole range of dry amendments and bottled nutrients. And bottled nutrients. They have a range of bottled as well.
Mega Solution.
Mega Solution is a salt-based
hydroponic stuff.
It's hydroponic nutrients done by Hydrobiz.
greenhouse. That's the greenhouse nutrient line. Explode Grow. I must say the feedback we get from Explode Grow is pretty good. Organics matter. Oh, okay. Oh, the GHE.
GHE,
the amendments.
GHE. One floor reflects,
greenhouse.
mostly GHE, and then on the so that's on the salt sides, and then on the local sides I see Kaya Farms, also, which is also someone of note to pay attention to. But the main word I see has BioBiz.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's like a 50-50 between everything else and maybe
GHE
BioBiz.
is very, very popular.
And GHE, yeah. GHE would now be Terra Aquatica, so General Hydroponics.
And KNF? Never heard of that.
KNF is Korean Natural Farming, so basically just they say make your own newts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
NutriFeed 284. There's some interesting new ones that I've not seen before. That could be.
At least it's not like two names on here. There's like a assortment.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I like that there is the amendments which are local. Yeah, I mean it's just things with buying nutrients from overseas I mean we're an agricultural powerhouse of the world, and
we're importing liquids like by weight, volume.
Yeah, pre-bottled. It's not like it's not even like sending it in like big containers and we bottling it here. It's like, but we have these things. We grow. Have you like you must see the fruits and shit that farmers. We often think like actual farmers would be shitting on us for importing nutrients and this and that. But there isn't a product. There aren't products developed that are marketed like specifically at cannabis yet, and that'll take some time. But guys, we are mega overdue. Running into 20 minutes or so. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you made it all this way, let us know in the comments if there's any products that you guys are using, soils, nutrients, lights that we haven't mentioned, or you'd like us to look into. And yeah, till next week. Peace, guys.
Peace, guys.